Good morning, Philippines! The song resides on Mindanao. Today's live broadcast patrol delivering the news and inside and outside of the country.
We've brought you fresh, with no bias.
News with no exception.
Delivering nothing but the truth.
I'm Sheena Rose Gallet.
I'm Jane Relio.
And we are your anchors for today. For the headline news.
Earthquake drill is spearheaded by BFP in Don Juan Flores Avalon National High School.
Measles outbreak in Eastern Visayas.
Amid uproar, Vatican clarifies people's comments on sexual slavery.
Pacquiao dominates Bruno a welterweight champion. Leskin alone together. For the local news, earthquake drill is spearheaded by BFB in Don Juan Flores Avalon National High School. Ben Jessiboche for the details.
On February 21, 2019, the Bureau of Fire Protection held an earthquake drill in Don Juan Flores Avalon National High School that will give awareness on how to do a first aid kit information in, before, during, and after an earthquake. Due to the participation of students in DG funds, and mostly the two principals is Mrs. Christina Hiray, the junior high school, and Mr. Dayo Diserio, Jr., the senior high school principal. The chief of BFP is Mr. Wada to conduct the significant event that will benefit to the all students and society, and other schools like the Pambuhan, Northern Samar, Bantay National High School, and other schools. Benja Sibuchi, report.
Thank you, Ben Jessiboche, for that local news. For the national news, measles outbreak in Eastern Visayas. Rayame Lorenzo for the details.
Measles outbreak kills 8, infects 161 in Eastern Visayas. According to the Department of Health Regional Office in Palo Leyte, in Tacloban City, the Department of Health has declared on Thursday a measles outbreak in Eastern Visayas as the highly contagious disease killed 8 children and downed 161 others in the first few weeks of 2019. DOH Secretary Francisco Duque announced a measles outbreak in other areas in Luzon, Central Visayas, and Eastern Visayas during a press briefing at the central office, said DOH Regional Information Officer John Paul Roca. Cases in the region have spiked significantly from January to early February, as only 55% of children were covered by the immunization program late last year, the DOH Regional Office reported. The victims are 6 months to 9 months old children, whose parents refused to bring them to health centers to avail of free vaccines. Out of the 8 deaths, 4 children were from Palo Leyte, 2 from Tacloban City, 1 from Pastrana, Leyte, and 1 from Gandara, Samar. The latest fatality was recorded on February 1 in Gandara town. Of the 161 cases, 119 were recorded in Leyte, 31 in Samar, 3 in Eastern Samar, 2 in Biliran, 2 in Northern Samar, and 1 in Southern Leyte. The health department is still checking reports of new cases this week. This is very alarming because in January last year, we only recorded 2 measles cases with no single death. More children suffer the disease because their parents refused to participate in the immunization program due to the infectious scare, Roca said. The DOH noted that some parents refused to change their children vaccinated for fear that they would suffer adverse side effects similar to some children who received the Dingvaxia vaccine. Rayame Lorenzo reporting.
Thank you, Rayame Lorenzo, for that national news.
For the international news, amid uproar, Vatican clarifies people's comments on sexual slavery. Karen Lavachandra for the details.
Amid uproar, Vatican clarifies Pope's comments on sexual slavery of nuns. A day after Pope Francis created an international uproar by saying Catholic nuns had been subjected to the sexual slavery by the founder of the French order, the Vatican sought to clarify his marks. When the Holy Father, referring to the resolutions of the congregation, spoke of sexual slavery, he meant manipulations of a form of abuse of power which is reflected also in a sexual abuse, said Vatican spokesman Alessandro Gisotti. The Pope's shocking comments when the first time he has publicly acknowledged the sexual abuse of nuns by Catholic bishop and priest. To date, much of the clergy abuse scandals have focused on minors who represent the vast majority of cases. But many Catholics say abuse of vulnerable adults, including nuns and seminarians, has long been a problem in the Church. Some hope the Church will address the issues at the upcoming meeting on the abuse crisis to be convened by Pope Francis from February 21 to 24 in Rome. The Vatican's own newspaper, El Osservatore Romano, last week said abuse of nuns by priests and bishop at times is made even worse by the fact that abuse of women brings about procreation and is therefore at the origin of forced abortions and children who are not recognized by priests. If the Church continues to close its eyes to the scandals, wrote Rosita Scarafia, the condition of oppressions of women in the Church will never change. Karen Ravachondra, report.
Thank you, Karen, for the international news.
For the sports news, Pacquiao dominates a Broner, a welterweight champion. Lara Bea Abalon for the details.
Pacquiao never surrendered the throne of victory. Despite of his age, Pacquiao proves that his skills and power never gets rusty as he unleashed deadly and powerful combinations and defeat Brunner and win on unanimous decision to retain his second welterweight title. With the jam-packed crowd at MGM Grand Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada last night. A 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao has 60 wins, 7 losses, 2 draws, and 39 knockouts, while his contender Adrian Brunner has 33 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, and 24 knockouts. As the first round of the bout, the two gladiators manifest a big heart to win and exploded counter punches, but Pacquiao generated a tremendous jab on the face of Brunner which buckled his opponent. Pacquiao landed many consecutive jabs and left and right hooks to Brunner, who caught him off guard in the few rounds. The performance of Brunner becomes rusty when Pacquiao cornered him and poured out a lot of energy on his combinations to Brunner, and he answered his punches by clinging on Pacquiao. The bustling cheers of throng of spectators has reigned in the arena as Pacquiao showed great performance and eagerness to win and poured all his heart and determination in the bout and unleashed deadly and powerful combinations of punches on Brunner, who is getting hard time to duck and dodge his way to safety. As the 11th and the last round, the fight was unpredictable, but in the end, Pacquiao eased off and led his way to victory. Lara Bea Abalon report.
Thank you, Lara Bea, for the sports news.
For the weather report, cold front figuring in parts of Mindanao. Nerissa Shebo for the details.
Cold front to trigger rain in parts of Mindanao on January 17. Manila, Philippines, the tail end of a cold front will afflict the eastern part of Mindanao on Thursday, January 17. A cold front forms when an advancing cold air mass displaces warmer air in its path, causing the this warm to rise, which then leads to the formation of clouds and precipitation. In a briefing past 4 p.m. on Wednesday, January 16, the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, PAPAG-ASA, said there will be scattered rain showers and thunderstorms in northern Mindanao, Caraga, and the Davao region. The rain, ranging from light to heavy, might trigger flash floods and landslides. Meanwhile, the northeast monsoon or hanging amihan will affect the rest of the country on Thursday. There will be light rain, but PAG-ASA does not expect any significant impact due to the surge of the northeast monsoon. However, a gate warning was issued at 5 p.m. on Wednesday for Batanes, Cabayan, and Gabuyan. Nerissa Sherbu reporting.
Thank you, Nerissa, for the weather report.
For the showbiz news, let's get alone together. Janelle Gumapay for the details.
Liza Soberano and Enrique Hill once again
chosen to play the role of remarkable movie Alone Together, where their tandem was considered the most beautiful and handsome couple and have aspirational image to the young viewers, and their role to this movie is filled with being the most mature role. Alone Together followed the love story of Christine, who played by Liza, and Ralph, that was played by Enrique, who crosses paths on their college years and become lovers. But something happened that caused to get them apart from each other. But after 8 years, they meet each other again but had different lives, and Christine had a boyfriend at that time. Antoinette Jadon, the director and writers behind Alone Together, has described Soberano's Christine as an overachiever. She graduated magna cum laude from BA Art Studies program of UP Diliman and dreamed of becoming a museum director, while Ralph is played by Hill, meanwhile, is the opposite. Umuulan ng 5 at incomplete. Jadon said of the character, who is BS Biology student from the University of Santo Tomas, ang dream niya ay simple lang, makagraduate lang, once again said by director Jadon. The character styling, according to Jadon, are more grounded on reality. Alone Together will hit cinemas in the first quarter of 2000. Go. Janelle Gumatay, reporting.
Thank you, Janelle Gumatay, for that showbiz news.
The gestation period from the female hamster in 16 days. Hamster allergic to cedar. Hamster can only see up to 6 inches in front of them.
Hamster was discovered in Syrian desert 100 years ago. The Syrian hamster, also known as the golden hamster, was first discovered by G.R. Waterhouse in 1939. However, the first time of a group hamster were caught was in 1930. They were caught by Professor Aroni, who was a zoologist in Jerusalem at that time, who spotted them near Aleppo in the Syrian desert, or hence in the name Syrian hamster. The hamster were found in a ditch had a mother and 12 babies or puppies. Unfortunately, when the hamster were brought into captivity, only 3 of the 12 young had survived.
This is Noriel Maria.
At Jason Pantillo, this is the Trivia Ideas.
Thank you, Jason and Noriel, for that wonderful trivia.
And that's all the news of inside and outside of the country. Once again, I'm Shina Rus Galet.
And I'm Jade Morelio.
This is the Newscast Patrol without no bias, without no exception, delivering the truth. Once again, may God bless you.